That is the sound of an 8-year-old moose. Moose had lost his owners and he was a little scared to be left alone all by himself. What do you think Moose would be feeling if he were 8-year-old and he had just lost his owners?
Pretty nervous. But like, yippee, no more baths.
No more baths. Yeah, no more enforced baths. But what about no food?
There are plenty of street dogs that survive.
That is true. Street dogs or stray dogs are quite common in India where we live. But this is a story that took place in Virginia in the United States of America, where stray dogs are not so common. So usually there are places or shelters or homes that are open and are very warm and welcoming towards dogs like Moose to take care of him, give him enough food, warmth and care. So Moose too, when he had lost his owners, walked into this place called the Portsmouth Humane Society, which is a wonderful place. But Moose was a little afraid.
Yeah, he was like worried that he may not be able to make any friends, that he may never get adopted again because he sort of liked having a fixed home.
Just like a lot of children or even adults, when you're going to a new place, you're not sure if you'll like the place, if others there would like you. So Moose too had these fears in him. But luckily for Moose, where he went at the Portsmouth Humane Society, there were lots of wonderful dogs and cats. And slowly he learned to make friends with them. They had a little bit of space where they could run around and play chase. There was even this big tub filled with water where the dogs would take turns to jump in and out of the pool. And there was this little contest they had amongst themselves as to who would jump in and out the fastest.
Yeah, so Moose was having like a lot of fun. But Moose still missed having a fixed home.
But luckily for Moose, the Portsmouth Humane Society also had a very interesting policy.
People who were allowed to like foster a dog for 1 or 2 days. They could take the dog on picnics, take it for a long drive, take it for a long cruise.
Yes, that's a brilliant idea.
When this story happened, which was in the first week of August of 2023, in Virginia, there was a family of 5 with 3 kids who were called Logan, Anya and Luna. They were aged 12, 10 and 8 respectively. And the 3 kids were looking to do something interesting over a weekend.
Anyone's got any interesting ideas for this weekend? What shall we do?
So they asked if they could foster a dog just for the weekend.
And they went to the center to try and pick out a dog to foster. The father, Chris, really liked Moose. He thought the dog had the kindest eyes he'd ever seen.
How beautiful, right? Most dogs do have very kind eyes, don't they?
Yeah, but the street types also have really sad eyes, like they're really begging for food.
But yes, coming back to Moose, the family of 5 loved Moose, and so they decided that Moose was going to be their furry friend for the weekend. So Sheila and Chris and the 3 kids took Moose in their car and away they drove to where they were going to spend the weekend. And Moose was in for a huge surprise.
Moose was expecting to be taken to a big house with a nice big garden, maybe somewhere up the hill or so. But instead, the family lived in a houseboat. Quite exciting.
Lovely. I'm sure the moment Moose saw water, he would have jumped right into the ocean.
Actually, he did, and then the children jumped right after him. and then they all had a great time playing, although I'm actually not sure what they played. It was a bit like tag, except the children never actually managed to catch Moose.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have swum really, really fast, right? And by sundown, they were really tired and they all clambered onto the houseboat and gobbled up their dinner and they decided to call it a day. Moose found a very nice, comfortable rug in the corner, which is where he was going to spend the night. The kids, Sheila and Chris, they all went back to reading their books, had some hot chocolate, and then went off to sleep.
In the night, suddenly, Moose started barking really hard and pawing at them. One child, Anya, and the father, Chris, actually did wake up when Moose started barking.
And they first thought a thief must have entered. So they went and checked every corner of the boat and nothing seemed amiss. And clearly there was no thief who had entered.
Then they thought maybe there was a loose log and some water was leaking into the ship. So they checked all over the boat again and there was nothing.
But Moose kept pointing towards the door and barking. And so then Anya once again opened the door and then walked out into the deck. And Chris and Anya saw something that they never thought was possible.
The houseboat next to them was on fire. So Chris raised the alarm and Anya woke up everybody else. They grabbed as many belongings as they could take and ran outside along with Moose. And they got onto land safely. Because Chris had raised the alarm, the inhabitants of the other boats also managed to get out.
And some of them even had to swim to safety. But yeah, we are happy to report that at the end of this night, nobody was hurt. And all the residents of that area, whoever resided on the houseboat, had managed to get to safety thanks to our dear friend Moose and his alarm.
Moose was definitely the hero of the day, or should I say, the night.
Yeah, that's true. But then come morning, Chris, Sheila and the three kids didn't have a home for themselves, let alone for Moose. As much as they loved Moose, they had no choice but to return him to the Portsmouth Humane Society and hope to God that somebody else would find a lovely permanent home for Moose.
Yep, and for a happy ending to the story, Moose was adopted by a farmer who had heard about his heroic rescue of the family during the night. And now he lives in a farm and chases around all the ducks and geese and has at least 10 other dogs to play with.
Wow, sounds like an idyllic life, huh?
Yep. Ooh, I've got some trivia. Moose is a Great Pyrenees, one of the dogs from the Great Pyrenees Mountains of Europe. They were usually trained to be guard dogs and protect their owners from anything, be it thieves or fire, like Moose just demonstrated. So that may have been part of the reason why he was able to sense the fire much faster than any other dog that may have been nearby.
That's how he gets his name, is it? From the Pyrenees Mountains. I mean, the breed of that dog.
Yep.
Wonderful. Shall we move on to another interesting part of this episode? It's called Quiz Time. And I will ask 3 questions based on what we were just talking about. And let's see if you all were paying attention.
Except this time, I'll ask the questions.
Oh, lovely. I'm game.
Question 1. What is Moose's breed?
Great Pyrenees.
Question 2. What are the names of the 3 children of the family that decided to foster Moose?
Logan, Anya and Luna.
Question 3. Tell me if this is true or false. You can find a lot of stray dogs in Virginia in the United States.
false. You're listening to What's New Today, a kids and family podcast where we love to bring real life stories from the real world around us. And joining me in this episode is...
Hi, my name is Adya Vineet. I'm 12 years old. I live in India. I enjoy reading about animals and people who have achieved extraordinary things. Moose is just one example.
How lovely! It was so much fun researching this story along with Adya and narrating it together. If you, like Adya, also would love to research about real world things that happen around us and would like to come on this show and narrate one story along with me, please write to me at hello@wsnt.in, or you can follow us on Instagram. The link to this is in the show notes below, and you'll find out how you can register to come on this show as a co-host.
Thanks for listening.